All right, hello everybody. I am here with Miss Florence. Hey, Miss Florence.
Hello.
Um, it is nap time at the preschool, but I'm doing some curriculum writing, and so I wanted to ask Miss Florence here. You're from Cameroon. We
Yes.
wanted some thoughts on what you believe an African-centered school should look like, or some of the things that we should go over. In different preschools, because I think there's a lot of communities that do have African-centered schools throughout the United States, and there's different takes on it. But I kind of wanted to just get another perspective on some things that we should be going over, just so we can grow as a community and better equip our children with ideas on how to educate our children. So you were saying, let's move over here. Yeah.
Okay, Africa as a continent is actually really large, and it's got several countries within that, and even within the country, there's several tribes.
Yeah.
So things are really different. They have traditional food, they have traditional outfits, they have cultural differences and things that they do, even dancing wise, it's completely different.
Yeah.
And when you look at Cameroon, for example, Cameroon has 10 regions, and it's not a very big country. It's like maybe 3 states, California, Texas, and one other small state added would make Cameroon.
Yeah.
But we have over 400 different dialects.
Wow.
So the national languages for Cameroon is French and English, which brings everybody together, and so that helps to bring people together so they can speak a common language when they're doing things and all that. But if you look at it, the English-speaking zone, the 2 English-speaking zone out of the 10 zones that Cameroon have, well, they call them regions now. They used to be provinces, they just changed them to regions. And the 2, even the 2 English speaking is Northwest and Southwest, and they actually are different as well from each other. And traditional food is different, even though the food, people prepare them, but when you say this is my tribal food, is completely what it's for that tribe.
Right.
And so it's a little bit different from each other, even though they're all good food and they prepare it generally. You can anybody can prepare it, but when it comes to, if they have things like, say for example, the English speaking zone, when there's a birth in the family, they celebrate the birth and they prepare certain food for the birth celebration. And then when there's death as well in the family, it's during the funeral is a whole weekend, 3 days, starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whole weekend that they have for that. And also different foods are prepared for that occasion as well. Then wedding is also different foods that are prepared. So when you look at all this, mostly it's community, people getting together and spending time and mourning together with, say for example, the death in a family, the whole community comes out, and that's why they spend the whole weekend there during the funeral. And then when if it's the birth of a child, then it's also a Saturday and Sunday thing where they spend time there, and basically kids are raised by the community.
Yeah.
Growing up as a child, I better not do something wrong. I get punished by whoever who saw me, and then by the time I get home, another punishment is
So double the punishment.
so it was kind of like, if you don't want to get punished twice, don't do anything wrong. Because it doesn't matter, whoever sees what you're doing, if it's wrong, they correct you, then they tell your parents as well. And then you get corrected again. And all that. So, but that is the true community, and that's how kids were raised up. We all called our elders, we never called them by names. We called them, if they were close family friends, we called them mom and dad as well. With their name added to it.
So that's like why a lot of African-centered schools say Mama so-and-so, Baba so-and-so.
Like Mama Ashley, Mama Florence, and all that. And then as we start growing up as well, like for example, now in my family, I am called Auntie Florence. Yeah, but growing up, my little brothers and sisters used to call me, including my nephews, because they didn't know any difference then. They were calling me Sister Florence, because my little brothers and sisters were calling me sister. You do not call anybody directly by their name. You put, if it's your elder sister or your older sister or older brother, you call them with that. Brother Peter, Brother Thomas, Sister Florence,
Right.
Sister Helen, Sister, yeah, you put all that in. And then if it's, like I said, a family friend, family grown up friends of our parents, we call them Mama Mary, Papa John,
Yeah.
with their name in it, so to differentiate.
Yeah.
And
Can I have a scooch over here just a little bit? There we go. Sorry, guys. I think
that's
the
okay.
light was in there. There we go.
yeah. So all of that actually, it brings the community together.
Yeah.
Because like right now, even when I talk about my parents' friends, when I talk to my mom about them, I still call them by that name.
Right.
Yeah. And now that we have kids of our own and they've grown and then they're calling us auntie, then it's weird because my sisters, they just call me Auntie Flo now.
That is funny.
Yeah, so
Changes.
instead of so and I call them, we just call each other auntie, uncle, and all that. So because that's what the kids are calling us now.
Right.
So it just goes through this cycle of kind of like a respect. For,
Yes.
So
So
that's
having
one thing.
putting that into the school.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is the culture, letting them know that that is how people are respected, and you show your respect and all that. And say, for example, you go to the market, because the people walk to go to the market and all that. We do not drive like we do here. And if you see somebody, an elder, your elder, coming from the market with a basket or a bag or whatever, you take that and you carry it for them and take it to their house, and then before you continue to wherever you were going. So that is just to show respect and say, okay, yes, that's great, that is what we do. Even if you have your own bag, you take this and you carry it.
So that's
help
one
them
of
out.
the things at our school too, that we're really trying to get the kids kind of getting that communal feel with them, and teaching them responsibility and getting involved in their community and their neighborhoods, but really like the groundwork level, and not just kind of saying it from a wide perspective, like, oh, that's things that you should be doing, but it's actually put into the curriculum.
Yes. Kids at certain age, growing up in my home, what we did was at 8 years old, all the girls, my brothers didn't like that, one of my brother particularly, because he wanted to learn how to cook. All the girls have to be in the kitchen with mom from 8 years old cooking.
Yeah.
When you turn 12, you have a week. All they do is they give you a certain amount of money, because we had food from the farm and all that, so you budget your own. Based on that money,
At 12
you
years.
cook for the family for that week. And you come up with your own menu, your own budget.
That's really
and
cute.
Yes. So you have learned from 8 years to 12 years, you have 4 years to learn. And then once you turn 12, you have a week.
That's
and
definitely
it's
something
rotated.
our kids could do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rotated. You have a chore in the house where for me, I just loved when there was a new baby in the house. I'll get up at 5 in the morning, I would wash all the diapers, I would warm water for the baby, give the baby their bath. Then I did dishes and I fetched water before I went to school. And even before I went to school, my dad had a bar and a restaurant, and he was an illiterate. So I would go and help my dad write out what he needed to order for that day before I went to school. This is starting at 8 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. Then after school, I spend time with my dad, and on the weekends, when he buys, because he bought his drinks and everything mostly on the weekends, and I will help him transport all of that to the bar, and then head out to the farm to help my mom as well.
Yeah.
So I had a routine that it was just, I was always moving, always going, always doing something.
So there was always stuff to do.
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing for us is teaching them responsibility too. I know we're going to have some real responsibility, and not just, I mean, we do some assimilations too, but definitely we're planning on having more gardening done. There's going to be some animals here too that they'll take care of. But I love that idea of kind of planning stuff and all of that too. The bigger kids, we just started a buddy system where they're kind of responsible for their younger one, the younger children. So I think that's a good one too. Can we go back to what you were, I'm going to have to plug my phone in a little bit too, but can we go back to what you were saying about the idea of Africa being so diverse? The kids understand it. We go country by country and we learn a little bit about each week, which I think was important for me too, because I think we talk about unity with Africa, obviously because a lot of us are kind of starved for, there's no connection. So we just say all of Africa, which is important because we do need to be united, but we also need to recognize that there's so much diversity in there, and you can't think that the whole thing is all one.
No.
So, but how do you find a balance in between to where, and I think we kind of do that, because again, we do study each country, but then they also understand that we're all Africans. But how would you say that for our children, like what messages do they need to learn about unity with Africa as a whole, or what does that look like to you? Do you think it's necessary? I know that's a lot.
It is necessary in a way, because even Africa itself is still struggling within itself to be united. And there's wars going on in different, they're still doing the genocide thing and all that, and, which is, it's really so, for me, it's, when you look at it, it is really, I want to say stupid or dumb in a part that Africans, we do have a lot of resources in Africa, and if we can just get together, we can actually become more powerful.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's good.
And I think what is happening is that I want to say the developed countries go in there and they are putting kind of like a wedge.
You mean the colonizers kind?
Yes, the colonizers from behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
They are the ones who causing all this little wars,
right?
Because as people are fighting, they're not paying attention as what is going on with the minerals and everything else that is there, and that is being shipped out.
So that's a good point.
Yes,
I was gonna say too. So in the curriculum on Thursdays, when we talk about Ujamaa Thursdays, the idea is about cooperative economics. So every Thursday we talk about a resource. So we do an activity with one of the resources that are important for that country. And it's funny because when I was going through it, I was like, this stuff is kind of boring. Like for me looking at it, but I think kids still need to recognize like what are some things that's how they make money, that's how they eat, all of that stuff. And but I was adamant about making sure that was put in there so that the children who are studying it can get a really good grip on why that stuff is so important, because we can talk about entrepreneurship in terms of being here, but the idea of trading and why and how that makes the country prosper, like what that means on a global level, all of that stuff, and why it's important. I think that's a good component. So I'm glad you said that, because something told me to keep that as a big part of it. And
it is.
Yeah.
It is. And they need to recognize that, because the more we are educated about these things, the more we will come to realize that, hey, you know what? So if they come and they start something, they will like, that's my brother, that's my sister.
Right.
We need to stick together.
Absolutely.
And if we stick together, none of this will be happening. And Africa has the the most beautiful diamonds and gold.
Yes.
But it's it's been depleted and
Yeah.
taken out of
Out,
there.
yes.
And look at us. We are very poor. We don't have a whole lot to do. We don't have a whole lot to show for and all
Right.
that. But it's all coming into the developed countries and now with all this going on, it's just kind of like people are left behind. People
Yeah.
are dying.
No,
People
that-
are
no, that's a good
yeah.
point.
People are sick. We're not developed. We don't have good hospitals. We don't have good
Yeah.
good stuff back there. But we have all the resources
Mm-hmm.
that have been depleted and taken out of there. So the more we get educated, we still have plenty of resources that have not been discovered.
Yeah, so-
and
but
I'm
we have-
hoping we have to get together in
Yeah.
order to protect that.
Right. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
yeah, granted that we are here in America, it does not mean that we are Africans.
Yeah.
No matter what, we are Africans. So we would like to see Africa get up to be one of those developed countries
Right.
that actually will be able to do more good
Yes.
in the world than it's going on today. Look at how many people, homeless people, are here in America. How many homeless people are around the world. In Africa, you don't have homeless people,
Right.
Because you take in your family.
Oh, see,
you
that's-
take in a close
Wow.
family friend. Yes, there's nobody who is a homeless person in Africa. Well, in Cameroon generally.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we take care of each other.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's important too. That's important.
yeah.
Hold on. I'm gonna put this in the. We're still gonna keep talking.
Oh.
I just gotta charge my phone, guys. Hold on.
We can move on.
Yeah, I'll twist this way. I was trying to get out of that way because the sun is there, but now the phone's about to die. So let's try it this way. Whoop. Or we can turn this way. There we go.
There we go.
Sorry. Okay. No, this is really good. I think it's important for people to hear this. I needed to
Yeah.
hear it. So how would you say, we'll do it this way. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Or not. Okay, I think it is charging. Okay, so we talk about why it's important for us. No, we didn't. Why do Africans here need to be concerned with Africans in Africa?
Well, I think, for example, like I am here, I'm helping my family.
Yep.
And even though I'm not there, like, for example, I just cashed part of my retirement and I'm putting a home and for my mom up in the village. Well, when I say the village, it's interesting because where your parents come from, like the tribal, there is an actual place, an actual space, location that is your own village. Yeah, so your tribe has a place where it's just your tribal people. And people leave that, we'll call it the village, they leave that and they go to the city to work and all that.
But
and
they come back.
they come back. If
Thank you.
somebody dies,
Yeah.
they take them to the village and bury them because the graves in the cities are not maintained. The graveyards in the city are not maintained. The cemeteries, I should say, are not maintained. So you take your person to the village and you bury them on your lot.
Yeah.
And it becomes a family lot.
Wow.
So even if a person dies and they don't have anywhere to be buried, people offer them their
Wow.
land to be buried there.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I just did that, and doing that is helping my family. Still, that is my connection.
Yeah.
I still need to stay connected. I need to know what's going on. I
Right.
still have family back there. Even if I didn't have family back there, what I would like to do, if there was a movement going to help protect our resources, I would like to be part of that,
Absolutely.
to help. But nowadays as well, you try to contribute money, and then you take it, and then there's this the ISIS and all these crazy people who just get up and think they want to do whatever and start hurting people. You don't know what that will go to. But if there is really a good source, a good establishment that is really created to protect resources, and it's known that that is what that is going for.
Right.
Education is going towards educating Africans on how to protect their resources.
Yes.
That's a movement that I would like to get involved in. And I'm thinking that that is what Americans who, Africans who hear, I should say, Africans who hear, that is something that they will help to contribute
Yeah.
to protect those resources and all that, because that is what we have. That is all we have to show for. Yes, we are here now, and we work for this, we do this, and we get a little bit of money and this and that, but
You still have a responsibility.
yeah, we
to
still
go
have
back.
a responsibility
Yeah.
to protect that.
Yeah.
So, because that's where our ancestors came from.
Right. Yeah, that's the biggest thing that I think too, is trying to get I think it's easier to introduce to educate people through the principles of Kwanzaa, just because it's laid out a little bit more. But I do find that it's hard for people to understand why we have to have a better connection to Africa. Like,
Yes.
because we're so often disconnected from it, even for parents that I work with,
Exactly.
in other, not here obviously, but in other places, trying to get them to understand why should we be interested in an African-centered curriculum even, never mind a school, but why should we be teaching our children about Africa? What's the point? We're already here. And I have my ways of doing it, but what would you say to a parent who is okay with their kid going to a regular school, not really giving them, I guess, a self-awareness? What would you say to them as to why they should, at the very least, be making connections to Africa?
Yeah. Well, what I would say is it is important for the kids to know where they come from, where their ancestors came from, and all that. It is good to know that, and also to help protect that, so that will continue to
Baby's
be
up,
there.
sorry.
Yeah.
We need to stop now.
Yeah, and that will continue to be there for generations to come, so they know that
Absolutely.
this is what it is. You know, Africa at one point in time was one of the big countries, one of the big nations, in the ancient time.
Yeah.
Africa was right up there.
Yeah.
But it's all this, again, mentality of saying, oh, I don't care what happens. Oh, we're just going to take this over there. Oh, we're just going to give it away. Because everybody is greed.
Yeah.
Greed always ends up being the downfall of the collapse of any structure or organization that you're trying to build. And I think that is what got us at that point. And even up to today, if you look at the leaders in Africa, when the colonies or the colonial masters come in, they give them off the top a little bit. And they're thinking, okay, now I'm rich.
Yeah.
I don't care about anybody else.
Right.
Just take whatever you want.
Exactly.
As long as I have my share. But they're not thinking about everybody else. If they were smart, they would say, hey, you know what? Okay, I'll tell you what. This is what we're going to do. You bring your equipment. We will provide the workers. You train the workers on what to do. And we will watch how much you're taking out.
Yeah.
Once you take this amount, you're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the rest becomes ours. If they were smart, that is what we would have done. And that is what the developed countries do. That's what they do. And that's how they stay developed. That's how they progress. So we just need to be able to get to that point where we know we work together.
Yeah, we care about
We
working
care about-
together. We care
yes.
about where we come from.
We care about the others
Right.
as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I appreciate the conversation. Thank you, because I've been wanting to have this conversation with you for a while, but it just never, the opportunity never came up. And now baby's up, so we gotta,
Baby's up, okay.
yeah. But thank you so much.
You're welcome.
VillageingBrown.com, Kwanzaa 365 curriculum, everybody. Say thank you, Miss Florence.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.